Hello, my fellow countrymen. Good day. Yes, we're going to have a good time. I want us first and foremost to watch this video I'm about to play for us.
Boy, don't follow me, stop. Follow me, stop. Wait,
Sorry.
you don't do your own, you give space now.
This.
Just give space.
I will press you.
You see, an average man will not understand what that young man has done right there by bringing that expensive car to the domain of the common man. You can see the excitement on the faces of his fans there, clearing the road for him, running after the car, treating him like their king. Of course, he's the rightful king globally. Everybody knows him. So, but that is not where I'm going to this hour. There's something I want to speak about because it has to do with my past somehow and the experiences one or two of my friends have equally shared. Initially, his fans thought he has bought a car, but he knew what he was doing. VDM is more than the man you just look as a man. Aside being a kind man, helping the masses, being the voices of the less privileged, is a mental builder. Let me bring it down to our level. You know, when most elites buys this kind of car that we just watched in that video, the way they carry themselves, a less privileged person will not have the gut to come too close to them. What do I mean? You see a lot of bodyguards, security men, shoving off people coming close to them. That is the mentality of our elites buying such cars. But he understands the mental torture of a common man, and he decides to do it his own way, in a way that they will grow to remember the memory of what he has done for them. When he brought that car to their domain, there was so much excitement in the mind, on the faces of everyone that saw him, that was around him. They were so much excited. And he was frank enough telling them, look, this car does not belong to me. I did not buy this car. It's for somebody else, but a friend just gave it to me to drive. And I decided to bring it here. And some of them were like doubting him that he was not telling them the truth. But I know he's telling the truth because VDN can buy that car. It's not lacking. But it said something very, very unique. He said, how could he buy such a car when he knows people like them are there? It doesn't make any sense to him. Not that he cannot afford it, but he will not buy such car. But a friend gave it to him just to ride, and he decided to bring it to them. There's something unique he did there. You might not notice it. When it came out from that car, the driver's side of the door was opened. He left it open. And the people there were trying to peep into the car to see what the interior looks like. He told them, calm down, organize yourself. Sit at the driver's seat and take a picture while sitting there. One after another, all of you should do it. You know what he has just done there? He's building them mentally, psychologically. He's building them to think big. That someday in their life, if they work hard as it's working, they can get that car. They can do something better than the car that he has brought to them. At least some of them never dreamt in their life that they will have opportunity to sit in that car as a driver, as the owner of the car. They never thought of being in such a car in their lifetime, but he brought it to their level. And they have the privilege of sitting in that car, holding the steering as if though they are the owner, as if though they are driving the car. Some of them will print out that picture, paste it either on the mirror or at the exit of their door, which will be reminding them to work hard on a daily basis. That is how you build the vision of little ones to become who they want to be in the future. I have an interesting story. I was once in the insurance industry, and I have this client who happened to be an international pilot, a very close friend of mine. So, over a bottle of drink, we were discussing, and I asked him a sincere question. What led to you thinking and becoming a pilot? Today, you're an international pilot. What led to that? He looked at me and he laughed. He said, "Hello, Reginald." It was a long story. So, years back, my father had this friend who was a pilot then at the international airport. So, one day we drove down to the international airport and he took me along with him. We visited that man. I never knew as a boy he was a pilot there. So, they were talking as friends. And I overheard my father pleading he should allow his son to just have a look at the interior of his plane that is flying. And the man said, "Why not?" With pleasure. The man, his dad, and himself, as a little boy, walked down to the tarmac and where the plane was parked. And the door was opened for him. Three of them entered. He had the privilege of going around inside the plane up to this place the pilots are sitting as a little boy. They didn't spend much time and not quite, they came out. He said that memory stayed in his mind for a very long time as a child. While in school, he started dreaming, becoming a pilot. Of course, he went to school, graduated, eventually turned to the direction of becoming a pilot, went through the necessary courses, and today he's an international pilot and is living a very good life. If the father did not take him to that airport to meet the pilot who gave them the privilege of having access to the plane, do you think today he will have been a pilot? The answer is, of course, no. I go beyond that. Some years while I was working in a certain company, I have this close friend of mine. Coincidentally, we are living in the same house. We work together. We used to dress in suits those days. So from time to time, he said, "Reginald, let's go to that car lot." We drove down to Western Avenue. You know all those Shitu, Moto, all those big dealers. And along Allen Avenue, we went to all these places. What do we do? Because we were properly dressed in suits, looking smart as young executives. We go to them, pretend to be interested in buying their car. And they will be excited that young bankers have come to patronize them. We will go for the very big cars there. Ah, how much is this car? They will tell us. Can you please open? We want to have a look at the interior. Open the boot, let us see the engine. We do all manner of things those days. They would just be happy that we are there to patronize them. We even go as far as turning the engine on, listening to the music, listening to the sound of the engine, nodding our head. At the end of the day, we'll test one or two vehicles, we'll tell them we'll get back and we'll leave. The next day, either we'll go to Allen Avenue, wherever. That was how we were doing all that we were doing. But as we go, as at that time there was no telephone, there was no telephone. We couldn't take any shots. But the memory of those visits, of this intention, stick in us. But I could recall that if we see the prototype of a good building design, we usually cut it off from the newspaper and paste on the mirror. When we finish dressing for work, we look at ourselves on the mirror, we admire who we are, we look at the prototype we pasted on the mirror, we know we have a goal set for ourselves. That is the kind of house we intend to build for ourselves when we eventually make it in life. We did all manner of crazy things. And I can tell you today that we're not regretting our life. We are all successful at our own different levels. We have done so much for ourselves. That is the basic truth. You know, when people like that you see, VDM give them the opportunity to sit in the car, to hold the steering as if they are driving, snapping pictures. You think it ends there. Mentally, psychologically, it will live with some of them forever. Some of them that are smart will print it out and paste it somewhere, and they will now start believing that it is good to do a legitimate work, do a work that will not bring shame onto them and their family. Because VDM as a person has proved to everybody that his records are clean. He's not into any vices, he's not into any crime. He's trying to tell people, this is how I worked and this is where I am. You can as well get to this level or better than me. You understand? So that is exactly what he has done to the mindset mentally to those people that surrounded him. This is exactly what I expect our superstars, our elite that made it in life through the grassroots. That is what I expect each one of them coming closer to these people that help you to climb up. Don't chase them away with your bodyguards. That is where most of us get it wrong. Feel free with them. These people made you who you are. So how come you made it and you begin to put barriers, bringing in bodyguards? They no longer come closer to you. I think what I've said is enough for a wise. Please don't forget to subscribe, to comment, and to like. Thank you. And I don't know how long the Igbos are going to be chased up and down wherever they are found. I'm already talking of 2027. Nobody's looking at the happenings around the world. Where is questionable? The chiefs, in terms of giving title, should decline, no matter how much they offer them. The criminals are taking